Listen to your body. 4 words. Every fitness program, every physio appointment, every PT's Instagram bio, every fitness app's loading screen always remind you to listen to your body, as if years of calorie trackers and macro targets and sleep scores and readiness scores and pushing through pain because a podcast bro said discipline equals freedom, as if all of this haven't systematically trained you to do the exact opposite. What if the reason you can't listen is that nobody ever taught you how? So today we're talking about why listen to your body is, in my opinion, the most useless phrase in wellness, the science it never taught you, and the 60-second check-in that actually works. Ready? Let's go. Hey, I'm Noemie, former queen of bad habits and corporate go-getter turned well-being coach and personal growth junkie. And in a world full of overwhelming wellness advice, we're here to cut through the noise. This is your space to master healthy habits, transform your mindset, own your well-being, and design a life you love on your terms. We're ditching the highlight reels and embracing the whole messy, imperfect journey towards becoming our absolute best selves. You're the author of your own story. So are you ready to write the next chapter? Let's go, and welcome to Unwritten Potential. Hello, my friends, and welcome to Unwritten Potential with me, Noemie. I am so happy that you're here. And full transparency, this episode is late. I've been a little bit under the weather, nothing dramatic, but I've been pretty run down from all of the traveling, changes in weather, changes in humidity, the altitude over the past few weeks. And I was just feeling super congested. My voice went hoarse, which is not ideal when part of your job involves talking to people and into a microphone. And I was really stressing about it, stressing out about not having the energy to record it, about not having the energy to edit it, stressing about disappearing from Substack for a week. I haven't really been online, which actually is lovely. And then I caught myself because the topic of this episode and of this week's newsletter is literally about listening to your body. And my body was sending me every signal short of a formal letter telling me to fucking stop. So I took my own advice. I stepped away from my laptop, from Substack. I went on long morning walks with my husband. We're in Panama at the moment, beautiful beaches. I've been drinking loads of electrolytes, and I did not stress about the podcast being late. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is, I'm not trying to get you to feel sorry for me. I'm totally fine. But it's the most on-brand thing I could have done for this episode, right? Because if I had pushed through and recorded an episode on listening to your body where I feel like absolute shit, I would be doing the exact thing we're about to talk about. So before I got ill, we arrived in Panama City, and I knew days before we got there that the hotel had a proper gym, not 2 dumbbells and a yoga mat in a converted storage room type of gym, but a real one with weights and squat racks and cable machines and loads of mirrors and the whole shebang. I was super excited. The workouts were planned. I had checked the photos, so I knew exactly what I was going to be able to do there. I was going to do 4 days of serious strength training instead of the body weight and cardio stuff that I've been doing while on the road when I don't have equipment. So I was properly pumped. For when I arrived, I was completely flat. Bad sleep, too much travel, work piling up. My body was sending every signal it could that I needed to chill. But my brain was like, okay, honey, get over it because there's a squat rack here. I coach people through this for a living, so I know what I'm supposed to do. And I still walked into that gym and tried to train like I hadn't spent days traveling or like I hadn't spent days sleeping, 5-6 hours a night. So listen to your body. It's everywhere, right? With 0 instructions. We've been told 4 years to go big or go home. That's no pains, no gain, right? Every fucking podcast is talking about discipline. Like everything is training us to do the exact opposite than listen to our body. And nobody teaches you what listening actually involves. It's just assumed. The skill of detecting and interpreting the signals coming from inside our own body, that has a proper name. And it's called interoception. It's how your body talks to you. Not in words, obviously, but in sensations. So hunger, fatigue, the tightness in your chest before you're about to cry, or that heat you feel right before you say something you're about to deeply, deeply regret at dinner. All of that, that's interoception. And most of us have never been taught to read it. And I always thought I was good at this. I can feel when something's off, especially nowadays. I gave up drinking a few years ago. So that really turned the volume up on a lot of the signals that I had been numbing for years. Turns out that your body has a lot to say when you stop drowning it out. And yet, there I was in the hotel gym in Panama City, ignoring every signal my body was sending because there were dumbbells and a plan. So how do you measure how good you are at listening to your body? And the skill can be broken down into three things. Number one, how well you actually detect your body's signals. Number two, how good you think you are at it. And number three, the gap between those two. That gap is the whole story. Because most of us, especially the type A ones, if you're like me, have very high confidence, but surprisingly low accuracy. We're sure we know what our bodies are telling us. We are measurably not great at it. You think you're pushing through productive discomforts, but you're actually pushing through a warning. You think you're not that hungry because you're actually overriding a signal that got buried under 5 years of my fitness fucking pal. Listen to your body assumes you have the accuracy. It never checks. And here's how we got so bad at hearing ourselves. Every plan, every app, every tracker you've ever used has kind of slowly replaced your internal signals with external rules. You stopped asking, wait, am I hungry? And you started checking whether you'd hit your protein target. You stopped noticing fatigue and you started consulting a readiness score. I do that all the time. I still wear my Garmin every day. I track my workout. I try to get my 10,000 steps daily. But somewhere in the last year, the obsessive checking, honestly, just stopped. I used to live and die by the data. Like if I woke up and my watch told me that my readiness score for the day was 20%, I wouldn't do the work of, checking in with myself to see how I was actually feeling. But now I glance at it and I make my own call. And I would love to invite you to do the same. And if you've been stressed for a long time, it gets worse. Stress actually scrambles the signals, right? Most of us genuinely cannot tell the difference between being tired, being anxious, and being hungry. They all feel like the exact same thing. When your body's been in overdrive for that long, every signal comes through a little bit blurry. Research has found that people who relearn this skill don't just get better at reading their bodies. The cravings stop. Their emotional regulation improves. They start looking after themselves more. Not from new information, but from hearing what was already there. And every spring, same story. Someone comes out of winter and decides this is the year. They sign up for a race, they buy the new trainers, set the alarm for 5:30 a.m. because someone on a podcast said early risers are more successful. I will never say that, my friends. By mid-May, they're injured or exhausted or both. And usually by June, they've quit and they are blaming themselves because obviously the problem must be discipline. The problem is not discipline. The program asked them to ignore every signal their body was sending to them. And then the program told them to listen to their body. Isn't that so fucked up? Honestly, I don't know a more elegant summary of the entire wellness industry's problem. So Here is your experiment for this week. Before your next workout, pause. Not a meditation, not a full-on fucking ritual, just 60 seconds of actually asking yourself, how does my body feel right now? Not what the plan says you should be doing today, not what you promised yourself even that you should be doing. What is your body actually telling you? Tired, sore, flat, ready, fired up? Then ask yourself, how confident am I that I'm reading that signal accurately and not just overriding it? And you don't have to change anything from this, but just noticing is the practice. You can try this with your next meal instead, right? Same question, different signal. Is this actual hunger or is it habit or boredom or the clock? Try for a few days and really notice if something shifts. The body doesn't shout. It will wait. It always does. But it would be nice if you could hear it before something has to hurt to get your attention. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this one resonated, share it with the person in your life who pushes through every cold, every bad night, every flat day because the plan says so. Oh, and one more thing. I'm going live on Substack for the very first time next week. It's happening Thursday, the 30th of April at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 4 p.m. British Summer Time. Think Q&A, coaching, coffee chat energy. I'm super excited. I hope the Wi-Fi in Costa Rica will be okay. I will be sharing the details for you to join the call in the newsletter. If you're not subscribed yet, head to unwrittenpotential.com. Take care of yourself, sending you much love, and I will see you next week.